right? And I'm like, well, it must be the sheriff asking how he's doing, you
Right.
know? So I guess it depends on who's here, because
Yeah.
I'm certain it's not the sheriff who has a problem, you
Right.
know?
Well, I've got to tell you that for those that don't know Lori Dorsey, she's a retired corrections officer. So when she comes into, I investigated Eastern State Penitentiary with her as well. She's very respectful, but very strong. And in prisons and jails, things react to her. But you know what? We are just about to go to our second break. And she said that the sheriff is the only one who didn't like her. So
Oh,
there's that. But we will be back in 2 minutes.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Hello there, and welcome back to Fate Radio. I am Kat, talking with Shelly Burk Robertson, and we have been talking about the old potting jail, how Shelly came to buy it, the experiences that she's had there, and this has been just amazing. I know that we spent the last part of that break discussing why the sheriff would not like Lori Dorsey, and when everything from period with women to women jailers and such. And in chat, she says, sorry, I meant did like me. So we fixed all this stuff for no reason. So I guess that's just going to be an interesting thing to ponder on why he would like her now. So what is the most unusual thing that you have seen that got your spirits fired up since you've owned that jail?
well, the most unusual thing that got them fired up the most, I would say, was when you came to broadcast out of that cell block. That has been the most time that they got so riled over something that we've done.
Really?
Um, there's another because things were slamming and
Well,
making all
yeah.
kinds of noise, yet nothing was moving. So
Right. So bizarre.
this was banging, and you couldn't see what was doing it. So that was very bizarre. Another time is when when we run the escape games in the jail, we have one that's called Big Top Circus, and that's this month again too. There's somebody here who doesn't like the circus very well. They interact with the escape game. They've shot the timer boards to 0 during it. We were all standing there, and they've popped the block locks open to let the people out, and people's been touched during that game, talked in their ears. When we're setting up for it, most times there's talking, groaning, heavy breathing. Somebody gets touched when we're setting the block up for it. There's just, and I try to explain to him, this is so much fun that people really like this one, and it's helping us out. So, if you want to be noisy and stuff, that's okay. If you want to mess with the audio, that's okay. Please don't touch the timer board. Don't mess with the timers. That's so. I mean, I'm going to compromise.
Well, yeah, so, that's the better part of valor, right?
Yes. So they do show up during that one. They're not happy about it, but they haven't messed with the timer boards anymore.
Well, that was good. At least they did acknowledge and acquiesce to that.
Right.
Well, go ahead.
We have a question from Brenda, I think.
Yes, I was just going to see if you saw that.
Yeah, she says, it took a while for female law officers to overcome that thinking, and she thinks a lot of it's due to male need to protect the weaker female. And back in that time period, I think she would very well maybe right.
Yes.
And she asked me if I've ever been pinched. I've never been pinched. I have been touched. My chair has felt like it's been kicked a few times. Like, when we were doing the show on the 3rd floor, I felt like my hair was tugged, and you actually saw it.
I saw your hair lift when we were actually sitting next to each other, and I was just kind of like, wow.
Yeah, because I had said, I felt like my hair was pulled or something, and you had seen it lift.
Yes.
Have I been grabbed in any kind of mean manner? No. Have I ever been pushed or anything like that? Absolutely not. It's never been in a mean way. Now, I know Tobe was on the 3rd floor talking with the sheriff, and he got kind of man grabbed on the neck and shoulder, and it spooked him. And
right.
He came downstairs. I said, well, you got to be careful. What was you saying to him? And, but it didn't leave a mark, and he has never been grabbed like that again. But I think he pays a little more attention to how he addresses the sheriff now,
I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm very cautious with my demeanor. Not really cautious. I mean, I'm still myself.
Yes.
But I'm aware that while they were making all that noise and banging on things that weren't moving, weren't visibly being manipulated, it didn't really dawn on me until after the fact that what if they'd have smacked me or smacked my laptop out of my hand, which is why I was so bent out of shape. And, I've got to think that if they can manifest those sounds and with the anger energy that was being created with that, they would not really, I think, have had a problem with actually striking something.
I really think they could, because they've opened and closed doors physically. I've got them on video. They turn lights on, and that's been physically caught on video. So they do have enough energy to move things.
Right.
Absolutely. And no one has ever been harmed here. But I also am very cautious when we do have the ghost hunts and the private teams do come in. I let them know this is a no provoking place.
Right.
You give the respect that you expect to get for yourself. You know what I mean? So I won't have it. And the ghosts know I won't have it. And I will ask you to leave.
Well, I
Yeah.
have a feeling if anybody came in there in a provocative fashion, you wouldn't have to ask. I think that
It,
would be handled for you.
I think you might be right.
So, I think that's actually true. And Brenda in chat said, "Can you say that again? Somebody was speaking, but she didn't catch what they said."
Uh,
So I don't know if she was talking about an EVP or that was speaking over you.
yeah, I'm not sure.
But we were talking about that provocation is not allowed. So
Yeah, and that's like you wouldn't just walk up to a stranger on the street, and that's why I have a problem with
right,
people who go into places and start acting like that. I'm like, you don't do that to people out on the street. Why would you do that? To me, they're just the same, except they don't have a body. And I know that might be hard for people to understand, but when you're in the environment and around them so much, you come to know that's so true.
well,
No, it wasn't Shelly. Yes, just barely heard it. So
okay, so it was an EVP.
it was an EVP.
Well, we've
Okay.
got this marked on our audio, and when we put it out, we will, because it's going to be a minute. Something will go up on iTunes and such right away, but I will edit it, and maybe I can enhance this area a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think that it doesn't surprise me at all.
No. They've been so vocal all weekend. I'll tell
They've
you
been
that.
excited, I think. I think they were looking forward to that opportunity.
Well, it's so funny because they were in the dungeon last night and Frank Tracy was talking to them, and they actually, Kat, not just meters, they got verbal talking last night too down there, which it all the people that were down there, and it wasn't just kids, it was some adult people that came from town also. It felt like everybody got touched down the line,
Really?
and I'm like, no kidding. That's pretty amazing.
That is, because that's not something that happens much, right?
Nope, no. It's like they were all lined up in the dungeon tunnel with chairs, on one side of the wall, and it's like everybody got touched in a row, like somebody walking past them just touched them all.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
And I can so see that happening.
So I'm like, oh, nice.
Well, I like that you have that jail wired for sound.
Absolutely.
I mean, in audio all the way through it.
Yes.
You document, and you're able to support through that documentation experiences that people have, right?
Yes.
And I mean, that's not just from the visual and audio. I mean, you actually see reactions.
Yes, you can see reactions. You can hear what happened. You can, and a lot of these stories that I talk to people about or let them know about, we have video, audio evidence to back all these things up. And it was funny because on the 5th, which was 2 days ago, no one was in the building, yet somebody turned those front room lights on. And that happens quite often. Lights get turned on throughout the building. And so I've got another piece of evidence to pinch off the DVR. and no one was even here. I hadn't got here yet.
Right.
So
you post those to your YouTube channel, right?
We do have some evidence videos on YouTube. Just look up Shelly Burk Robertson or 187PI. You'll find that. I post a few snips here and there on Facebook. I have a lot more. I should post more often. I'm so bad about that because we get so busy with stuff, but I have got so much evidence I need to actually put out there,
I understand. It's, when you're in the heat of the moment, it gets difficult to stop and do that.
Yeah.
In fact, I owe evidence on